that this is in the west end of the community. So, you know, you guys were kind of surrounded in different areas, you know, further out. So what do you hope that this does for the community with being in the heart of the area?
It'll bring energy here, total energy. And, you know, good investment besets good investment. So we are putting our stake here and hope that others will do the same.
Mayor, you mentioned earlier too how, you know, council chambers, you guys are kind of separated all over the place. So with this new beautiful building that you guys have in store, could you talk about how some of the different groups will be here now?
I'm going to turn that over to Mayor Pro Tem Jim Clements. He is my project person on this job and working very hard on it.
Thanks, Mayor. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody. So with regard to the buildings, who's going to be here? Public Works and Electric Department are going to be on High Market Street. We know that. Police and Fire, no change there. The rest of the departments are going to be housed here. We have about right at 12,500 square feet in this initial building. Overall, we have 18,000 square feet. Behind this building is another building that's 1,100 square feet. That's for future expansion. Beyond that is another building that's 3,100 square feet, and that's the new council chambers. It'll have seating for 100 people. We'll have full AV systems, dedicated meeting rooms, and restrooms, most importantly. And then beyond that, we have about 800 square feet of storage. So altogether, besides the 4 acres, we have about 18,000 square feet. I would like to talk about the procurement process and what brought us there. As you know, we have a great engineering department, but their primary job is putting pipe in the ground, flood control, resilience. And so we took it upon ourselves to competitively bid to hire a project manager to act as our fiduciary representative through this process. And that was a competitive bid process probably 6 months ago. And we were fortunate to come upon LCK, based out of Charleston. We have their director of pre-construction heading up this, Brian Davis. And so he has been our representative through this. So we competitively bid the project management. And then from there, we did a competitive bid process for the general contracting. And that process is a 2-stage process. The first process is they come on board as our consultant, work in real time with our project manager, analyze costs, analyze life cycle, and ultimately complete the design in real time with constant feedback in terms of schedule and costs. So we got there, and this past month we went ahead and had our first reading on both the total project budget, which is about $5.8 million, and the award of the contract to Coastal Structures, 4.232, somewhere in that range. The balance of that cost is what we call FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So that's the AV system. It's a lot of furniture has to go in. I mean, I'm telling you, people are working on cardboard boxes right now. They've been doing it for years. So it's way overdue. But the point is, this has been an open book, competitive bid process, and even the form of agreement with Coastal Structures is open book. We see all the bids, we see who they award to, and then there's a saving provision at the end of the job if we come under. So we have the downside is guaranteed, the upside is guaranteed by a maximum price, but we have opportunity to generate savings. And we've been working very, very hard to do that. Now, the building has been a little bit of a challenge because it was built in the 70s. We had asbestos. The electric system was a disaster and needed a roof, had no HVAC system. And you can see the perimeter wall here of this glass is single strength glass. And the middle panels are single strength. So you can imagine the heat transfer. We've been talking a lot about utility bills. Well, we got to protect ourselves as well. So that whole facade, except for the concrete buttresses or pilasters, are coming out. And there's a whole new exterior wall going to be wrapped around it, insulated with lots of light. In today's day and age, you've got to keep employees happy. So we're flooding the spaces with light while taking good care to make sure that we maintain a high efficiency rating for our HVAC system.
Mr. Clements, you said it yourself. This is definitely about making sure that the people are happy.
Yes.
So could you, if you don't mind, could you talk about the current conditions at the City Hall now and what people can expect at this new facility?
Well, the good news is each of those department heads have been working with our design builder and our project manager, and they've had full input. And I'll be honest with you, I've pushed back a few times. But I think everybody's happy, or everybody's a little bit unhappy, and I'm a little bit unhappy. So that means that everything worked out pretty well, I think. But we've got 40 offices in there. We have room for expansion. We have storage in there. We've got our customer relationships manager going to have a drive-up, a 2-lane drive-up to pay their utility bills and such. And compare that to the bank building we have over there.
They're working in closets at this point. So
literally, we have
crammed.
cubes. Some people don't even have any closet. They have to work from home or from their car. So it's long overdue. They need to get rewarded. They have been very solid putting up with it, and they're very excited about this opportunity, and we are too, because this isn't a building for today. This is a building for the future. You know, this building, in my mind, is being built for at least a term of 50 years. You know, that's the way you build an institutional building. If I was a developer, I would spend less money, sell it, and flip out of it. But that's not the case. This is something we're going to be proud of for decades to come.
Now, you mentioned Coastal Structures got the contract. Can you tell us who else bid and what they bid for the project?
I don't remember. It's online.
Terracon, I think, was one of the bidders, if I recall. But there were three.
Yeah.
There were 3 bidders, just like for the project management. And in fact, when Coastal Structures bid the cost of work, the subcontracts, they had to go out to at least 3 or more bids, so to make sure we have competitive responses. And then from that, they went through and reconciled them and proposed a final GMP number. And we see all of this. This is all open book.
And you said during Thursday night's city council meeting that the property at Front and Fraser, you hope to sell it.
Well,
at some point.
At some point, but the most important thing, in my mind, I'll speak for myself only, where the old City Hall site was, is probably one of the most valuable sites in the city of Georgetown. You know, 25, 30,000 cars a day go by there. To put City Hall there would have meant no revenue, and certainly not the highest and best use. So now, with the help of our engineering department, you can see the work going on there. We're moving out some forced main lines, and we're freeing up the site. We're going to have potentially a couple of acres to put on the market at a prime location. And what do we need? We need jobs. So we're hoping at the appropriate time, council's approval, that we're going to go ahead and market that. And we're going to control how that property is developed and the time that it's going to be developed.
Now, I mean, one reason City Hall did not go back there to Front and Fraser is because it was going to cost so much, because you were going to have to put so many pilings in the ground
The cost.
to keep it stable in case another sinkhole happened, I guess.
Yeah,
What makes you think a business is going to want to come there and invest that kind of money stabilizing their building to go at that
According to what you
location?
build.
Yeah.
City
I mean,
Hall would be very heavy.
Yeah, if you're building a single-story building, you're right. The cost of foundation is a little excessive.
But the other night you were saying we're going to make 7 figures on this property.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. But you have to understand, we build buildings, big buildings, on piles all day long. I mean, think about Miami Beach. They have piles that go down 100 feet. Charleston, when I built the Bennett Hotel, we had 1,100 piles there. Half to hold the building down and half to hold it up, because the water table was at -5 feet, right? So, and
Can be done.
It absolutely can be done, but it's the amount of the key is the investment. How much can you put on top of it? Where does the parking go? There has to be a critical mass that satisfies that. And putting a single-story City Hall on that site would never justify that. And that's why this makes so much difference here. We have a robust shell building that has stood for 50 years anyway, and I'm, based on the design parameters and restraints that we've taken, I feel very comfortable it's good for another 50 years. And we can be proud of it from the architectural standpoint, because we've taken an adaptive reuse of an iconic building here in Georgetown. So I'm very proud of that reuse, as opposed to just tearing things down and building back new.
I know you've addressed this before, but just for the record again, utility bills. What is this going to do to utility bills?
Well, we pay utility bills just like everybody else.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people are still saying that they think this could impact their. So I was going to ask you one more time.
Well,
let me go through this.
Yeah.
So we had $3.5 million in proceeds from City Hall. We bought this property for $1.4 million. That's gone. The remaining money in the construction funds, $1.753 million. The anticipated cost is $5,801,000, not anything other than that. This is the maximum cost. from our contractor.
Mhm.
So you have to borrow the difference in the money. There's a bond issue that we will be awarded once we apply for that. So we're looking at about a $4 million bond issue that we will have. So how do we pay for that? Well, right now we're paying $103,000 in rent a year
For substandard space.
for space that's not usable. Well, it is usable, but for space that does not suit our needs. So yeah, we're going to have some debt service. However, we're not going to raise your utility bills to pay this debt service. We pay out of the general fund.
Mm-hmm.
Could this increase property taxes?
We don't anticipate that. We already have a debt service schedule of how we're going to pay down, and certainly you don't go borrow money before you know how you're going to pay it back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know how we're going to pay it back out of the general fund.
So this building is going to be a big step forward for city employees, but how can your constituents, the residents of Georgetown, expect to benefit from this as well?
Well, you can walk here from most places. It's a single level. It's not hard to get in. It's very handicapped accessible, and we have plenty of parking. We're not on a busy street. It's easy to get to. I think it'll certainly be an asset to the availability of the public to get here.
And it's on the right side of the town too, because you have to think of where we are in that bank building. We're actually on the fringe almost. I won't say fringe of Georgetown, but out on the corner. This is more central. You know, to me, this is like Front Street of Georgetown. So, and I think it's going to be easier for everybody to get here.
How long are y'all expecting construction to last?
We are very much looking forward to October 1st. Completion date.
No, actually, I'm going to change that. We're going to start October 1st.
October 1st, July 4th.
Yeah, we hope to be moved in July 4th.
Yeah.
It's about 8 months of construction, and then we have our interior upfit, furniture, IT, and all those things that will take place.
What are y'all most looking forward to in this new building?
Space.
Yeah.
For our folks to be able to breathe, put plans out on the table and read them, and just to be able to be together in a nice environment.
Yeah.
And it's been tough for our folks, and we realize that.
Communication is so important. This way, departments will be able to talk to one another, right, as opposed to crawling over a cubicle to get to the other side. So that the free flow of information is going to be very, very important. I think it's going to make them far more productive, far happier to come to work. If you don't like where you work, you're not happy, and then we pay the price.
So you're saying people are unhappy right now?
Yeah.
They're unhappy with where they are.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. They've endured a lot, and we realize that. I'm in City Hall a lot, and I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just my last two questions. Does this mean, since you guys have more space, more room, that it could be possible job opportunities in the future, or is that too early?
We always have job opportunities at the City of Georgetown.
We do.
We do.
We do. But we have plenty of space. As I said, we have 40 offices starting out, and the way that the office planning space planning has progressed is that we have soft spots that we could add offices, and some offices that we can divide to make 2 offices. So we're thinking forward in terms of future expansion, because we're growing. We are on the map. We are absolutely on the map in the advent of what happens on the IP site, and perhaps certainly the steel mill site and the port. This is going to be a busy place. And so we need the tools to make sure that Georgetown grows correctly, and everybody gets rewarded in the process.
This is my last question. You kind of answered it in a sense, but to get the mayor's point of view, if that's okay. What does the city of Georgetown future look like? Like he said it already, it's growing, it's on the map. People know where this site is now, this area and this place is. But with this new building being here and better quality of life for, of course, the people that work, what do you hope that this brings?
Again, I see energy, that positive energy that we can transcend to the entire city of Georgetown.
Yeah. Could I make one comment on the back of that? I don't know if anybody has ever read the ULI study, but one of the most important aspects of it was connecting the West End with the downtown. Mm-hmm. Right now, we've got this barrier called South Fraser Street. So if you can imagine Front Street working its way this way, the redevelopment of 90 acres of steel mill, and views from the west end to the water, and entertainment opportunities, jobs, walking paths. The future is bright. I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.
Can I ask Mr. Whittier one question? And I asked, so it's one figure that I've seen posted by the public several times since Thursday is $8 million. They think this is going to cost. Why do you think that's happening? Why do some people think it's $8 million instead of $5.8 million?
Yeah, there may have been some confusion the night of the council meeting. There was 2 agenda items on there, and one of them was referring to the full cost, and then there was another agenda item for just a portion of the cost, which was the building. I think there was a misunderstanding that those are 2 separate, and I think they were adding those 2 together to make that a larger cost than it was.
So it's just a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe so.
Not reading it correctly, because one number rolled up into the other number.
This is the cost.
5.8.
Yeah. Yes, sir. All good?
I think we're done.
Thank you all. We appreciate your attention very, very much.
Thank you very much. Now, since the cameras are off, if any public has any questions?
Is it okay if we film inside? Just
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Okay.
Now's the time.
Still be propped open, so whoever wants.
Yeah, the door's propped open.
Yeah, it is.
Just be careful. It's very
Yeah, it's a little rough in there, so.
And we see you.
I'm not seeing you. I'm here to.
Oh yeah. So Jimmy and I, we were meeting with if you follow us, he's the common sense Georgetown. Very